Welcome to A Slice with Dice, a podcast exploring the ideas, pressures, and possibilities shaping how we learn, lead, and grow. I'm Corey Alderdice. For over 20 years, my work has lived at the intersection of gifted education, leadership development, and school culture, supporting students as they find their strengths, educators as they stretch their thinking, and schools as they build pathways that expand opportunity. Ready to dive in? Here's this week's Slice. Unless you've been living under a rock, you'll have noted that there's a Netflix movie that's been making waves for months. K-pop Demon Hunters. The Academy Award winner for Best Animated Feature and Best Song is flashy, high energy, and full of supernatural battles. But beneath the choreography and fight scenes, what really stands out is how it draws on the richness of Korean culture. And that got me thinking about another Korean idea that doesn't show up in neon lights, but is every bit as powerful. It's called Nunchi. Now, Nunchi doesn't translate neatly into English, but the simplest way to explain it is the ability to read the room. It's the art of picking up on subtle cues, adjusting your response, and finding the right balance so that relationships and interactions flow more smoothly. In Korea, it's considered an essential life skill, something you practice every day without calling attention to it. Some people even say that having fast nunchi is like having a superpower. It doesn't look like much from the outside, but once you notice it, you'll see how it makes all the difference in the way people get along. Now, if you're a teenager, you might be wondering, what does this have to do with you? The truth is, high school can feel like its own kind of battlefield. Not with demons, but with shifting social dynamics, complicated friendships, and the constant pressure to figure out who you are. And that's where Nunchi comes in. It's like radar for your social world. You walk into the cafeteria, and without even thinking, you sense who's laughing too loudly, who's lost their phone, who's hanging back, and who looks like they don't want to be noticed. Now, most people catch these things on the surface, but Nunchi asks that you take that awareness a step further. What does that mean? How do you respond? Do you take the seat next to someone who's alone? Do you quiet your group when it's clear the energy is overwhelming the space? You see, those small distinctions are what Nunchi is all about. And I think what makes it especially important for teens is that it gives you a way to navigate the unspoken rules of school with more confidence. A friend who's stressed doesn't always say it out loud, but you can pick up on it. A group project isn't working, not because people aren't smart, but because no one's listening. Someone makes a joke that doesn't land, and you feel the tension ripple across the room. These are the kind of moments where Nunchi comes alive. It helps you avoid unnecessary drama, strengthen friendships, and become the kind of person others trust. And if you're in a leadership role, Nunchi makes you better at that too. A good leader isn't just the person with the loudest voice or the best idea. It's the person who knows when to step back and when to step in, when to keep talking and when to let silence work. Nunchi helps you sense when someone is being left out or when consensus in the group isn't real. The ability to pick up on those signals and adjust builds trust in ways that shouting instructions never could. And the best part of Nunchi isn't that it's something you have or don't have. It's not a gift, it's a skill you practice. You get better at it by paying attention, by slowing down before you jump into a conversation, by noticing what people don't say as much as what they do. And when you get it wrong, which everyone does from time to time, it's important to reflect and try again. That humility, that willingness to keep learning, is at the heart of what makes Nunchi powerful. When you think about it, it's not so different from what happens in the movies. The flash and spectacle get all the attention, but it's the quiet, careful choices the characters make that actually move the story forward. That's what Nunchi is in everyday life. It's a quiet kind of power. It doesn't get you a fight scene or a soundtrack, but it helps you build the kind of friendships, trust, and resilience that will carry you far beyond high school. So the next time you find yourself in a noisy room or an awkward silence, pause and notice what's going on beneath the surface. That's where the real action is. That's where Nunchi lives. And that's where you'll discover one of the most underrated skills you can carry for the rest of your life. A Slice with Dice is a production of Aldercube. Thanks for making time to reflect with me. If you're finding value in these episodes, I hope you'll subscribe and help spread the word. Until next time, lead boldly, listen closely, and keep pushing forward. I'll see you then.